You're listening to I Have Some Notes, a podcast supported by listeners like you. To contribute, visit patreon.com/I Have Some Notes.
Welcome, everyone, to a special Side Notes edition of I Have Some Notes. I'm Liam Creswick.
I'm Scott C. Bourgeois.
I'm Greg Beaver.
And today we are discussing the best films of 2025 that we saw.
Based on our...
Not a definitive list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't got RogerEbert.com team of writers to, hit them all, but
yeah,
we collectively, I think, watched a great many. I know I was around 40 or so movies that came out this year, and I think you guys were pretty comparable.
Lower than that, but more than I originally feared.
I was yeah, I was trying to give you an out.
I was actually legitimately worried coming into the end of the year, and I was like, God, I don't feel like I've watched a lot of new releases this year. But then I went back and looked at my Letterboxd, and I have seen nearly 20 movies, like feature length releases this year. That's not even including short films that I watched, which I would argue count as film, which would put me closer to 30. And that's much more than I originally thought. I didn't feel like I'd seen a lot this year, but apparently I did get out quite a bit.
Yeah. And it was a great year for movies. If you've listened to our best of the year episodes before, we tend to have like a top 5, top 3, just general handful of movies we want to talk about.
We kind of do it. We do it different every year.
Yeah,
which is kind of fun.
We've never quite done it consistently, and this year it just sort of shook out 12 movies that we're excited about between the three of us that we are going to dive into and let you know who picked them, why we picked them, kind of where they rank, maybe, but just what we love about them. If you agree, maybe you haven't seen it, and we can convince you. That's my preferred outcome.
Yeah, for sure.
So how was your year in general, though, fellas? Anything exciting? How was your year outside of film?
I think I had kind of like a boring year, but I think in the best possible way, because 2024 for me was full of like anxiety attacks and things like that. Listeners might remember that there was a large gap in 2024 where we weren't recording episodes, and it was partly because I was having a mental health crisis. But no mental health crisis in 2025 for this guy. Felt much better the whole year, and I didn't really get up to a whole lot, which you would think would mean I would have the ability to watch more movies. Not necessarily the case, because I still have a little 7-year-old, and that makes things a little difficult. How about you, Scott?
Similar boat. There were some ups and downs this year, but thankfully things kind of landed on the upside, and everybody came out of the year pretty good. Ended over the new year with the flu, which wasn't great. Which, for the record, is why this episode is somewhat delayed and why I might sound a little froggy this episode.
Yeah, you'll be hearing from the flu later in the episode.
To be fair, the flu saw nearly 60 movies this year. So.
Yeah. I had a very exciting year. I got engaged.
Yay!
Congratulations.
And, have we said that on the podcast before? I don't remember.
No, I don't think so. But and then as it pertains to podcast stuff, but does not really compare to getting engaged. My other podcast, Quantum Kickflip, had a great third season that we did not plan to do, but a whole bunch of fanfare and interest in the game, and therefore our project spurred us to make a third season. So if you haven't heard Quantum Kickflip season 3, a little shameless self-promotion, because I can't promote Amanda. She's mine. Good year all around, and lots of great movies. We're going to get right into it. In this year, we're doing it alphabetical order.
Why not?
And the best part of the alphabet is, of course, numbers. So we're going to start off with 28 years later.
I believe this was mine that I pretty sure I was the only one that had this one on my list of top 5. I was not expecting, I don't think, a whole lot from 28 Years Later. It is, in a way, it's kind of following the trend of Lego sequels, but it's also directed by Danny Boyle, who's one of my favorite directors, and written by Alex Garland, who Aaron and I have kind of a love affair with, over the internet, I guess, not in real life love affair. I've never met him. Yeah. Anything else is scurrilous lies. So it's strange to me. I think that maybe is part of the reason why it hit me so well, is that I'm thinking like, oh, it's just another legacy sequel. We'll get a lot of fun zombie stuff, and then that'll be the end of it. And it is a movie that is about so much more than that. It's a great survival tale, but also I believe it's much more about acceptance, acceptance of the situation you're in, the acceptance of death, the processing of grief, and those kinds of movies are always appeal to me quite a bit. And I found something hopeful in it as well, in the sense that if you haven't seen the movie, skip ahead a little bit. But in the film, there's these. I love 28. It is literally 28 years later, and like the zombies are still kicking around the mainland UK, and they've all kind of like morphed a little bit. Some of them, they're getting quite slow in their old zombie age. There's different versions of the zombies. It reminds me of the video game Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
There's the bloated one, there's like the tank and like that kind of stuff, which is great. And they all have their fun and disgusting quirks. And a lot of dong, surprisingly, as well. A lot of zombie dong in this movie. But in and amongst all of those different types of zombies is this sort of like run through of the idea that they're kind of redeemable as well. Again, skip ahead for spoilers, but one of the zombies is pregnant and has a baby, and it just like that was a place where I didn't expect a zombie movie to go. And I feel like that's a really great sort of evolution, because most zombie films are all about just wanton destruction of the dead, They're just NPCs that you like to shoot or hack away with the axe or whatever the case may be. And, given our, current climate, I felt that to be refreshing, that there was an attempt to say, hey, look, no one's beyond saving. There's always an effort to be made to bring people back from the brink.
Yeah, that's a great observation. Yeah, very true. And yeah, I think the biggest feat of this movie is that it manages to trick you into watching this like somber rumination on grief when you sort of think you're going to get the Fast Zombies movie.
Yeah.
It really Trojan horses in a sentimental, genuine story of grief. Yeah, it's wild.
I would argue most genre fiction, whether it be a book or a video game or a television show or a film, is the perfect way to Trojan horse in a good message. Most of the good fiction that I read, for example, tends to be genre fiction that has something to say. And some of the best movies I see are genre movies that have something to say. And it endlessly surprises me to have people be like, oh, I came to see a zombie movie. Oh, I came to see a science fiction movie. I don't need politics or a message. And it's like that. So you don't want a story is basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to watch a movie you've seen if you want to see the comfortable thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Art is here to move you and tell you something.
Yeah. Yeah. I generally like, I think a real good genre film will make you think about those things, maybe not so directly, The metaphor is really baked in, but it doesn't necessarily hit you over the head. Not that can't be done. We all kind of liked what was the Leonardo DiCaprio movie about climate change, basically. Not his documentary.
Don't Look Up. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that hits you over the head in kind of the best way possible. So it's not that it can't be done. But I do appreciate, apt metaphors. And I love a movie like this that is open to interpretation, to, pulling out what you can interpret from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Great. And going forward, we also should endeavor to not spoil too much of these, so you don't have to skip too much of the episode. Our goal is spoiler free, unless we just got one of those juicy observations, just something we want to sink our teeth into and discuss. This is I Have Some Notes after all. We're not just going to be like, good.
Well, and I feel like 28 years later as well is probably kind of in the wheelhouse of a lot of our listenership. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, hopefully a lot of you have seen it because it's quite good.
Next on our list is Black Bag, directed by Steven Soderbergh. It's got Cate Blanchett. It's got Michael Fassbender. Scott, you picked this one?
Yeah. It's a really good spy thriller. I like a good taut spy thriller, and I don't know that I've seen a particularly good one in a couple of years. And Anita actually turned me on to this one because she had been taken out by I want to say her work for some sort of work perk, and they had gone and seen the movie, and she came back and was like, this was really good. You should check it out. So when the opportunity came, I did, and was just happily surprised by it, was very delighted. Cate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender are both great in the film. The plot is smart and sharp and witty, but wasn't trying to outsmart me, which is what I like in a good mystery. I like a mystery that has twists and turns, but if you're paying attention, you can keep up with it. And you can have your little ahas before the movie tips its hand, because the movie's not trying to trick you. And this is very much the case with this movie. It's a mystery that you can solve if you're paying attention, but it's smart, it's well acted, and I just had a really good time with it. I don't know. It was one of my top 5 films of the year, I think.
Yeah. I enjoyed this one as well. I did like the pivot where midway through you sort of think they're might be at odds with each other because they play husband and wife, and they're more on board than you think. And that's sort of the crux of the mystery was their aha moment early on was oh, we're getting played, aren't we? Okay. And then it's a whole other movie. It's almost like a whole other mystery. So
I was trying not to be spoilery,
but that's like the first act. That's
fair. That's fair. But even the promotional material for this movie would set it up as to give you kind of the elevator pitch. Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett are both spies, and Michael Fassbender gets asked by his boss to investigate because someone in his inner circle is apparently a double agent, and he begins to strongly suspect it's his wife. And it really does seem like they're maybe setting up a Mr. and Mrs. Smith situation. But as you say, there's a little sleight of hand. There's like a first act turn, and then it turns into a completely different movie. And it's just very enjoyable.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. It's almost a quintessential Steven Soderbergh movie to me. It all has all those elements, the very, smooth palette, the matter of fact delivery of every line. So there's sort of a coldness to the film, and also sort of, I don't know how to also describe how the characters interact, but in a sort of dry way, but it's still very engaging. So I quite enjoyed this as well. Didn't make my top 5, but it was a good time. It was actually in there for a little while until some other movies booted it out.
I don't think it would have even broke my top 10, I must say, though, only for that dryness you were talking about. I found it a little cold. I found it everyone was too cool for school. Every line was just a little bit too, we're sexy, cool, smart people doing sexy, cool things. And sometimes in a mystery, you kind of want people to get a little sweaty, get a little desperate. And at no point is anyone ever kind of in my opinion, like they weren't having to take those like desperate swings that sometimes a good like thriller needs to take.
I kind of agree with you, and I kind of disagree with you. The two leads, Cate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender, are cool as cucumbers through the whole thing. But there's a certain like competency porn to what they're doing, where you're watching two intelligence agents at the top of their game, like veterans who've been with the agency for a long time, unraveling an internal affairs mystery. Meanwhile, the people around them all get sweaty, which is very enjoyable to watch them make other people sweat.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but if I recall correctly, there's sort of an understated attention about the performances of Cate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender. Am I pulling that out of thin air? I seem to recall that. So I know, like, even though it is competency porn, like you say, Scott, like I still feel like because they're such strong actors, you can get the sense of the tension and the pressure that they're under.
Yeah. There's a lot of subtext going on in their acting, but it was just enjoyable to watch. I dug it. I dug it.
Yep. Into it. And yeah, sorry, that was real rich of me to be like, guys, let's not spoil it. And then I'm like, there's a pivot halfway through. So I will mea culpa that one. Sorry.
It's all good.
And hopefully we go third time's the charm as we talk about Bugonia, which made my top 5. I loved this film.
And there's definitely nothing to spoil about this movie.
Yeah, this one's big time spoil time. We're not gonna say one way or another. But also, I think what I liked about it is it kind of doesn't matter. There's like a question at the heart of the marketing that once you start seeing it, you're like, oh, this is all thesis, zero mystery. The is she or isn't she kind of doesn't matter by the end of it, at least as my takeaway from it. But yeah, Lanthimos Joint, written by a guy named Will Tracy, based on a Korean film called Save the Green Planet. It's really Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons trying to outact each other in Everybody Wins.
Yeah.
Everybody in the audience wins. Everyone in the movie.
Spoiler alert.
It's
nobody,
no, it's not spoiler. It's a sweaty movie.
Yeah, it is.
Don't you die. No. It is. If you haven't seen the trailer, Jesse Plemons' character is convinced that Emma Stone's character, so a pharmaceutical executive, is an alien, kidnaps her and demands all sorts of retribution and alien information and will not be convinced otherwise of the beliefs he holds. And in having this back and forth, this status battle between these two characters, you just get this deeply nihilistic portrait of the way humans exert power over each other and like hurt people taken to like a chaotic, spiraling, self-destructive degree, like generations on generations of hurt people hurting other people, and it's all for naught. We're a waste. Most of the movies on my list are quite hopeful, but this was like the deeply nihilistic one that I really resonated with. Its cynicism, frankly. No, we are barbaric ghouls, aren't we? Like,
yeah. I mean, two things can be true at the same time. We can be intelligent, caring, empathetic creatures and monsters as well. So, yeah, I found the swing back and forth between, whether Jesse Plemons was, a legitimate actor or a certified psychopath to be quite engaging, and his performances is something else. And Emma Stone is also super good. Yeah, really.
Also, shout out to Aidan Delbus, who plays an autistic character who's sort of out of his depths and has people exerting power over him in different ways. Played by an actor with that diagnosis. And I hope it turns into more for him, because I read a really nice interview that he was just like a high school kid in California doing high school theater and kind of got plucked out of obscurity because he fit the needs of this movie to a T. And I hope it turns into something more for him, because he did a great job.
Yeah. He gets several banger moments in this movie. So yeah, good on him.
Yeah.
Also, a great diegetic needle drop in this film.
Lanthimos is such an interesting filmmaker. And I always enjoy all of his films. And I would say Bugonia is maybe not my favorite of his films. That one's probably, what was it, Poor Things?
Yeah.
Poor Things, yeah.
From a couple years ago, also with Emma Stone. But this one was good. And I appreciate that the movie maintains its tension right through to the end. And you, like, every time you think you have it figured out what the situation between Teddy and Michelle is, it manages to once again make you doubt that. Like right up until the bitter end when it finally decisively makes a decision. And I know that there were a lot of people who bounced off of the fact that the movie made a decisive decision at the end. And I understand why, but I actually think it serves the story very well in this case. So this is one of those times when a director took a big swing, and I think that he nailed it.
Agreed.
But,
especially the way the very last series of shots plays out.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in a movie. It was, it's definitely his most thematically understandable. Like, I found a lot of his stuff kind of inscrutable, and this one is probably the easiest to process.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen, what's it? The Lobster. But that one I remember that feeling like that one was a little impenetrable for me. I saw it when I was much younger though, so maybe I'd be able to pick it apart a little bit better now, but
might be time to give it a review.
But yeah, I mean, the favorite is great. Poor Things is obviously, that was my number one movie that year. I was actually expecting Bugonia to hit me, a little bit harder. I don't know. I don't think there's any reason for that. Just like sometimes you just have to be in the right headspace when you're watching a movie for it to really, hit you in the right way. And this one didn't quite get there for me, but it's still, one of the best movies I saw this year for sure.
Yeah. I could see if you're in, like, this movie works better if you're in the mood for that kind of nihilism.
Yeah, sure.
That's fair.
Yeah. And I think too that, like, it's just sometimes when we get to this time of the year and I'm trying to watch all these movies to catch up on some of my favorites or what I think are going to be my favorites of the year to prepare for this episode in and of itself, I think maybe I kind of like gin up the expectations a little bit too high. Maybe that's just not a fair way to watch films like this.
That's fair. Yeah. Moving on, another one of Scott's picks. We got Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein.
Just talking about how Poor Things was my favorite Yorgos Lanthimos film. And unsurprisingly, that means that Frankenstein hit me right in the sweet spot for this year. I like Guillermo del Toro. I like Frankenstein. And so Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein was always going to be something that I was going to see and was something that was going to have to go out of its way to disappoint me. And it did not. It is
a good way to put it.
It is gorgeous in the way that only a Guillermo del Toro movie can be. The creature design is great. It's like gory, but in a macabre, like you can't look away sort of way. I thought there were some people who I saw criticizing the performances, but I thought the performances were pretty strong, especially with Oscar Isaac and Jacob Elordi. I wasn't disappointed by it, and I had the benefit as well of being able to see it on the big screen. I went out and saw it in the theater. Would have been a
benefit, yeah.
And it was gorgeous to watch. So, yeah, not disappointed. I liked Frankenstein. It was definitely my top 5 of the year.
I quite liked it as well, Scott. Again, just another one that didn't quite make it into the top 5, but I know that there were some folks that sort of complained about the Netflix look of that of Frankenstein, and I'm not sure that I entirely agree with that assessment. It is shot digitally, so it does have that look. And if you want to make the argument that this film would have benefited from being shot on film, I 100% agree. I think some good solid, heavy film grain would have been perfect for Frankenstein. However, I do agree with Scott that it is a gorgeous looking film. It's Guillermo del Toro, so the production design is all bloody fantastic. The creature design himself, all of the technology that Dr. Frankenstein is using to create the creatures, create all of his different creatures. The opening scene when he's in his sort of when he's in the lecture hall and showing off the initial monster, that was weird and creepy and interesting looking all at once. I quite loved that. And yeah, I haven't actually read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I probably should do. And I'm sure that Scott has. And I'm actually curious, how you feel this stacks up to its source material.
It's pretty accurate to the source material, up to and including using the framing device of them hunting each other in the Arctic and Dr. Frankenstein getting rescued by a ship captain. And then relating the story about what's going on. It's fairly faithful. I had heard another criticism, which was well, we've seen Frankenstein before. Well, number one, you haven't seen Guillermo del Toro do Frankenstein before.
Yeah.
And number two, Frankenstein, I think I discussed this when we talked about Nosferatu, because I feel Dracula's in the same kind of lofty air. It's like Shakespeare. It's a timeless story. It's classic. And anytime I see a new director or a new cast or a new production do a version of it, I'm always interested to see it, because it's someone else's take on the material. It's someone else's vision on the material. It's someone else plucking out different themes and different character beats. And it's always, it's rich. It's rich material. And there's no reason why you wouldn't watch another version of Hamlet. So I don't see why there's not a reason you wouldn't watch another version of Dracula. And Frankenstein's up there for me with the same thing. I'll always be down to watch another version of Frankenstein. Another one is coming out next year, and I am going to watch it. So,
yeah. Oh, so you just
I say next year, but actually this year, because it is 2026 right now.
You reminded me though that I haven't seen Hamnet yet. That's a Shakespeare adaptation I'd like to see, and didn't get to Hamnet yet. But Frankenstein. Okay, here's a question for you. If someone doesn't have Netflix already, doesn't currently subscribe to Netflix, is it worth to get a month of Netflix to see?
To just see Frankenstein?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to say yes, but also, use that month to catch a bunch of the other essential stuff that's just on Netflix.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Don't just do it for Frankenstein. But if Frankenstein was the tipping point, sure, get your free month of Netflix, try it out, watch all the stuff you can, and then cancel.
Yeah.
Nice. I
do actually find that I only really need about a month's worth of Netflix every 6 months or so to really because by the time the month goes up, I'm I'm kind of burnt out on this and time to subscribe to something else.
Moving on to another selection. This one made my top 5. I saw it at the Edmonton International Film Festival. Glad I did, because the people who made it had to go through a hell of a lot to get it made and produced. It was called It Was Just an Accident, directed by Jafar Panahi, written by the same guy, and a just far out revenge thriller that is good as it's a perfectly good film on its own narratively. It's about a group of people who find someone they believe had previously tortured them under a more strict regime and a sort of more heightened conflict time in their life. It has a lot of shades of One Battle After Another, of former revolutionaries and rebellious folk reconnecting after years. And they find a guy they think tortured them, kidnap him, and then are trying to figure out what to do with him, but they're also not 100% sure it's the right guy. And so they're going and finding other people who would have interacted with him, being like, is this the guy? Did he torture you? Anything up? Did you ever see his face? Should we kill him? Should we leave him in the desert? What are we going to do about it? So kind of a dark comedy about revenge. But I think what really made this for me was the meta context of how it was made. It's an Iranian film, and the guy who wrote it and directed it did jail time for his last movie, had to smuggle it out of the country. Either has done or will do jail time for this movie, had to smuggle it out of the country. The way they had to film it was like kind of in secret, which explains sort of one of the, not the framing device, but like the central conceit of the movie is the guy they've kidnapped is in the back of a van, and they're sort of driving this van around to all the different people to get their take. And it's like, oh, because they can't really like set up a studio, they can't location scout, they just kind of have to shoot out of this van. There's shots where the cameraman's in the passenger seat, and it looks kind of awkward, and you're like, oh, he's in the passenger seat so he doesn't get arrested. I even have a theory. There's two characters get interrupted while they're having a wedding photo shoot and carry on the movie wearing a wedding dress and a tuxedo. And my theory was they did that so if anyone gave them shit, they'd be like, no, we're just doing wedding photos. Yeah, so a great movie as a narrative on its own, but the absolute punk rock context of this guy making it as a big fuck you to the Iranian government really just did it for me. So either if you can find it, if it gets released enough for people to see, it was just an accident. I think I also might have been the only one to see that. So any questions about that? Had you guys heard good things?
No, it does sound like a concept, and the lore that you just elucidated for us, I think definitely makes me want to see it. So I will be checking it out at some point for sure.
Yeah.
One Battle After Another does show up on our list here in a little bit. Spoilers for our own list that I will spoil. But if you like that one, this has a lot of the same shades. If you have an appetite for that kind of movie, this one hits a lot of the same marks. So. And on a lighter note, a comedy, we've got The Naked Gun.
much lighter. This was mine, and it landed. If I was to rank mine, I would have put Naked Gun number one. My favorite movie of the year. Is it the best movie of the year? No. Was it the movie that I enjoyed the most in a theater? Absolutely. It had been a while since I had been in a theater with a large enough group watching a comedy. And I think that it was almost like a new experience, experiencing that again. And also I've always been like a really big fan of these screwball comedies, and Spaceballs is my favorite movie of all time. I love it. And I've always been a pretty big fan of The Naked Gun. And I'm also an enormous fan of Akiva Schaffer, who is, frequent collaborator with the Lonely Island Fellows and Andy Samberg, specifically. And he's made some of my, favorite comedies of all time. So, this was kind of a movie destined for me to love. Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson are both great in this. I think the casting of, Liam Neeson was quite smart, because he just does Liam Neeson. He just plays it straight, which is, more or less, what, oh my God. Leslie Nielsen did, right? And Pamela Anderson, like, she's got a bit in this film where she does some jazz, and it slayed me. And she's amazing in this film. And I was grinning ear to ear through all of it. And I was just so excited and happy to see a screwball comedy that had a good sense of comedic timing and quality to it. And it wasn't, the there's a long era where we just like got bad ones, you know, like the movie 43s, the Scream, what was it? What's the Scream parody series? The Scary Movie series,
Scary
like those
movie,
ones, which are all trash. Yeah.
Well,
So
they're all trash. The first couple are genuinely good, but sorry.
okay, I'll take your word for it. But I'm glad to see that this did well and maybe even might receive a sequel, because I think it did reasonably well at the box offices. So that'll be great. And we'll see what next year brings. I know that they've announced a Spaceballs sequel. I have no confidence in that. I would love for it to be awesome. But I am definitely going to wait for the reviews to roll in there, because I am not going to ruin my my love for Spaceballs by watching a Josh Gad version of it.
One of the movies that I saw in 2025, based on recommendation from friend of the show, Olav, actually, which you might want to check out, is Fackham Hall.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It is also a dry parody of this case of like Downton Abbey or Gosford Park, those kinds of like period upstairs, downstairs dramas. And it was quite funny. I don't know that it was as funny as Naked Gun, but I did get a genuine good time out of it as well. And so just a little honorable mention to slip in there. If you haven't checked it out, it might be worth checking out Fackham Hall.
All I have to say about Naked Gun is it has possibly my favorite ever look around the room for a fake name bit I've ever seen in a movie. That's where I lost it the most was, it's great subversion of that trope of the like, fake name. Yeah.
I also love the romantic sequence that kind of turns into another movie entirely, which is, just brilliant. Yeah.
And Paul Walter Hauser, my Letterboxd year in review, Paul Walter Hauser was in the most watched actor I had this year.
Weird.
He's the Mole Man in Fantastic Four. He's great here. A movie from last year called Luckiest Man in America. Very good. But yeah, I like that guy. He just looks, he's going to be a good character actor for the next while.
Yeah.
Funny, classic funny fat guy. Yeah. Yeah.
And he has the quintessential like sidekick look to him,
Yeah. Just a kind of like, whoa. Well, we're, as you can hear, I got to catch my breath because I'm just so excited about good movies. So we're going to take a little break here and we come back. 6 more movies we enjoyed from 2025, as well as listener comments and what we're looking forward to in the new year. We'll be back.
What's up, nerds? This is Josh from Talking Smack, where we talk superheroes, movies, animation, comics, and so much more. Every week, we break down the latest blockbuster movies, TV shows, revisit comic events. We even talk to comic creators like Kyle Higgins, Melissa Flores, and Matt Groom. And don't miss out on our Superhero Showdown episodes, where we debate your suggestions on who would win in a fight, or maybe they might become friends. So join in on the conversation with me, Josh, and my co-host Alex every Wednesday on your podcatcher of choice. Look for our yellow and red icon, and we'll see you soon, Smackheads.
Welcome back to I Have Some Notes. We're discussing our favorite films of 2025. The best, who's to say? Our favorites, us. And you're hearing it, because they're our favorites. We watched a lot, not all of them. Before the break, Greg was like, is Naked Gun the best movie? Maybe not. Is it his favorite? Absolutely. That's where my top of the year also lands, which we'll get to shortly. But yeah, having fun talking about good movies with you guys. Frankly, it's always one of my favorite episodes of the year. Just
for sure. Yeah.
Good movies. And I get all excited. I get all worked up. Next on our list, we've got One Battle After Another. I believe this was my selection. Made it into my top 5 for sure. This is the new Paul Thomas Anderson joint, based on a novel by Thomas Pynchon. And it is the radical, rebellious story of our times. There's the opening scene is people liberating a not detention, immigration like camp, with bombs and terror, but they're the good guys. And then it becomes this whole, father-daughter drama. Sean Penn, I don't know what he's doing in this movie. The way he walks and wears a shirt should get him an Oscar. Like,
yeah, I entirely agree. Yeah. He's doing something. He's making some really interesting choices in this movie, and they're all great.
But I think this is going to be one of the most discussed films of the year, definitely by people far smarter than I am. I would love to hear what you guys thought, but I'm going to try to keep my thoughts minimal because I just think other people are going to say it better. The part of this I want to highlight, what really sold it for me, was Benicio del Toro's character. I think he is the glue and the heart and the like contextual backbone of the movie's thesis. The one scene where he is, all I'll say is in a spoiler, he is aiding Leonardo DiCaprio's character, and the way he is doing it and the other things he is doing in those scenes and the things he is saying to Leonardo DiCaprio's character, specifically the line that sticks out to me is, we've been under siege for years. Don't be greedy. And he's referring to, Mexicans, Spanish people, minorities in America, as this frenetic white guy tries to reestablish his, anti-authoritarian, understanding of the world. And so, yeah, I think Benicio del Toro's character specifically is what tipped this over Sinners for me, which did not make my top 5 list. Cause this movie, it looks beautiful the way you expect a Paul Thomas Anderson movie to look beautiful. It's flies by. It's like 2 hours, 40 minutes, and it doesn't feel like it, which is a testament. But yeah, my favorite part by far was Benicio del Toro.
For me, this was the second piece of media I took in this year that had a very matter-of-fact view of activism, in the sense that it basically just like lays everything out raw for you. Like, this is what it's like. This is what it's like when it's exciting. This is what it's like when it's extremely difficult. These are the pitfalls and the kinds of people who are in these movements who both contribute to it positively and negatively. And I would highly recommend also a book called The Free People's Village, which is very much in this same vein. And both One Battle After Another and Free People's Village, the main thrust of it basically is that, not to be too lame about this, but it's one battle after another. It's the battle continues regardless. Like the way of activism is you keep losing until you don't. Everything is it's worth it to keep continuing, because you may plant little sprouts here and there, and then eventually those flower. But you just have to keep moving along. And, that's One Battle After Another doesn't necessarily have, go hard into the paint on that theme. That's more Free People's Village, but it does, it does exist in there. And, so I really appreciate that sort of raw take on activism. Cause I would not consider myself an activist. I'm like, I just sort of like dabble in around the fringes. But I do feel like it's going to have to be part of my life at some point, given the trajectory of the where we're headed. So I am quite interested in how these things work and how what it's like to participate in a real way and to understand what the mechanisms of them are.
Yeah, the participate in a real way is exactly it. And well said. And then Benicio del Toro's character is the contextual backbone of that thesis. But yeah, I understood the title, One Battle After Another, and I know you weren't trying to be cute, but that is like the thesis of the movie is the name of the movie.
Yep.
So, and say what you want also about the guy, but Leonardo DiCaprio, I don't think I've ever seen him play a character like this. I don't ever seen him kind of play like a sweaty idiot. He's usually a little cooler and more collected.
Yeah. He in the movie never it never lets you feel real good about him. Yeah. He's just always kind of a sweaty loser right from jump right to the end. And I appreciate that there are, especially when they're sort of the main white character of the film, that they don't let him off the hook at all.
That's
If you couldn't tell by me not chiming in much, this is one of the movies I did not get a chance to see yet this year. So,
but you did see the next film.
I did. The next film being Sinners by Ryan Coogler, both writer and director, starring Michael B. Jordan and jokingly Michael A. Jordan as the Smokestacks twins. Haley Steinfeld is Mary, Miles Caton, Jack O'Connell, and Wunmi Mosaku. Just a great movie. Sinners might be my... If I was ranking, it would be hard to beat for my number one from last year. It just was an absolutely great film from top to bottom. It's a genre film, but it's a genre film that, again, has something to say. It's just superb performances from top to bottom. It's spooky and haunting and beautiful and musical and just great. It's just a great movie. If you didn't see Sinners yet from 2025, treat yourself. Go seek it out right now. Yeah. Pause this, go watch Sinners, come back.
I feel like this is the richest film on the list. Just in terms of like the visual, the stunning visuals, the one musical scene that everybody is talking about with regards to Sinners. It's the one thing that you would pull out of it immediately. And the fact that like there's, is it a second act twist or a third act twist? I don't quite remember where we do get into the genre stuff that, I guess it's not really a spoiler because it's in the trailer. So like, yeah, there's vampires in this movie, but, I really enjoyed, Michael B. Jordan's performance. I like the way that it's shot with him playing two characters. It's so smooth and effortless that I've heard people not realize that they were two different actors. They were one actor, which is crazy. I forgot that. I didn't mean to put you on blast or anything like that. But no, yeah,
the whole movie I was like, why can't I place the other guy? And then the credits roll and I see Michael B. Jordan. I'm like, yes. And Haley Steinfeld. Oh, I'm an idiot. But I saw a really good behind the scenes kind of featurette thing. The technical, like, there's so many good things to say about this movie, but it's also like a technical feat. Like it's some of the best use of the like two actors on screen at the same, or the same actor playing two characters at the same time. Technology that like hasn't been innovated on since The Parent Trap from the 70s. Like it.
Yeah. And I think that's a testament to like how good it is that it's, you don't notice it. Like, and you know, it's not like the days where, like the days of Multiplicity or whatever, where, you know, they did a wonderful job with that, but you're sort of like in awe of like the fact that like all these characters are appearing on the screen at the same time and it's only one actor. Yeah. Whereas this can just wash over you and you just feel you're just watching the movie. It's not, you're not really, paying attention to the fact that there's a special effect involved.
Well, and it's a testament to Michael B. Jordan's performances as well, that the twins both feel completely like different people. Like from the way they carry themselves to the way they talk, to their attitudes, to the way that they look at each other or at other people. Like they are two completely different performances. And that's just a magic trick. Like it's a testament to how good an actor Michael B. Jordan is.
And is he ripped in this movie? Holy cow. I was watching the trailer to sort of refamiliarize myself with it because I hadn't seen Sinners in quite some time. And I was like, God damn, that is an attractive human being. Holy cow. Yeah. And I appreciate the themes of it too. Like I don't know about you guys. I mean, I think it's probably fairly obvious that there's a kind of the vampires are what you would call cultural vampires, you know, and I really enjoyed what it had to say about appropriation and those types of things, you know.
Yeah, no, just absolutely great film. Certainly my top of the year, or it would be hard pressed for me to think of another movie I enjoyed more. And I watched it twice, very close to like back to back. Not literally back to back, but very close to the first time I watched it again and enjoyed it exactly the same the second time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, as big, high box office, beloved, popular blockbusters go, an original script, wholly original.
Yep. Yeah. So. And smashed it at the box office too. So
turns out if you make a really good movie, people will come out and see it.
Yep.
Well, speaking of ripped people at the box office, how about we segue over into Superman?
Yes, Superman. I think this is both on my list and Scott's list. Yes. Yep. But this was my favorite movie of the year, and I'm very surprised that such big, loud, colorful blockbuster fare touched me in the way that it did. Like, I saw Sorry Baby, you guys. Like, I did. I ate my veggies. I watched all the grown-up movies, and goddamn, Superman still. Oh, it's just so good. I also watched it twice just to make sure that I wasn't having a good time at the theater. Like, I wasn't just in a good mood that day. I watched it a second time a couple days ago. Yeah, my favorite movie of the year. I will try not to gush too much about this, but I could go on and on about every layer of this movie works. I buy every choice that they made. I buy the characters. I think this is probably the most relatable Superman possibly ever put to screen. Like he's a genuine normal guy. He makes mistakes. Which is his, little speech at the end, but every portrayal of Superman has this sort of stoic paladin energy. Like, even if he's a nice guy, he's very
aspirational
and stoic, whereas he's almost more Peter Parker than Superman in this movie.
As the saying goes, Bruce Wayne is Batman's secret identity, but Superman is Clark Kent's secret identity, right? Yeah. I loved this portrayal of Clark Kent Superman. I wish he'd had a little more time to be Clark Kent. But I think he smashed it. And James Gunn's script also smashed it for me. And one of the reasons was because there was a point in this movie where Lois Lane is, and this is not really a spoiler, Lois Lane is grilling Clark in private about why Superman made this decision to intervene in an international war and may have caused an international incident. And she keeps pushing him and pushing him and pushing him and pushing him. And finally he just, frustrated, shouts, people were going to get hurt. What was I supposed to do? I needed to act because people were going to die. And I was like, that's it. That's Superman right there.
Yeah.
That cuts to the heart of his motivation. I just wanted people to be safe. And that made the whole movie for me in that moment. I was smiling for the rest of the film, and I was already on my way up until that point. Yeah. And from that point on, the movie had completely won me over.
Agreed. It's so smart that it starts with, it doesn't dick around establishing any superhero world nonsense, because it's been 47 years since the last Superman. We know Superman. We don't need any of it. So we don't even need to see his everyday being Superman already. The literal first thing in the movie is him losing a fight and us learning that he has caused an international incident. Mm-hmm. So he's fucked up, he's lost, and then the third sort of blow is that they sort of strip him of his sense of self. The reason he thought he was here is taken away from him.
Yeah.
And that's how you make Superman interesting, is if he can solve any problem with a, blink of his eye, you have to go to his core as a human being, even though he's not a human being, as we learn in the climax.
I would argue he's very much a human being. He's one of the most human beings.
You would argue
Lex Luthor would disagree with me vehemently, but Lex Luthor is the bad guy. Also, Nicholas Hoult. Holy crap. Oh. Great Lex Luthor. Fantastic. He is so delightful and hateable in equal measure. I just loved his performance so much.
He definitely does crush it, but I want to go back to the script, James Gunn vision for this. The thing I love about Lex Luthor in this movie is, in the same way Superman's already, we see him well into his Superman project starting to hit the first hurdles. Lex Luthor doesn't just have an evil plan. He doesn't even have a couple evil plans that he reveals like, oh, this first plan that I revealed with a flourish fails. Here's the second backup plan I'm revealing with a flourish. He's got like 7 irons in the fire and he just bangs them out. Because it's not really about how he's going to take out Superman. It's why he hates him. And he's doing all of this. He's got monkeys typing a disinformation campaign. He's engineered threats to fight him. He's, manufacturing discontent across the globe just because he hates Superman that much. It's like lesser movies would have had him be like, ta-da, Ultraman. And this, he's like, yeah, I got Ultraman. I got this other lady. Like, come on, keep up.
Yeah. I also want to give a shout out to Rachel Brosnan as Lois Lane. She's got that kind of brassy attitude that like the early Superman movies had, while still having like a bit of a soft side when she needs to. The fact that a reporter with her duffel bag, doesn't think twice about hopping into a portal to another dimension with Mr. Terrific just because her friend / lover is in danger. I totally buy that. I'm like, that's Lois Lane. That is the brave, brassy reporter snooping out the story and putting herself in danger without a second thought. And the fact that she has a great news team assemble moment, as well, is also just great. The Daily Planet gets their like hero moment, and that's just fantastic.
They're also, the thing I love about the way they play her and Clark is it's not a romance. He's not wooing Lois Lane and then kissing her. They're already in a relationship and they're making out. And they're like, they're people. They feel like so lived in. There's one little like shot where Jimmy's congratulating him at the Daily Planet and they're just doing a little buddy haha. And I'm like, they seem like actual friends. Like every other portrayal of Jimmy Olsen is this like wide-eyed wonder of like, oh, gee whiz, isn't Superman great? Whereas this, like, I feel like they play video games together.
Yeah.
The Justice Gang, the fact that they got Mr. Terrific in and he's the best character, Guy Gardner, played by Edmonton's own Nathan Fillion. Oh, Hawk Girl just being and then like I said, I'm gonna gush. I can't help it. The fact, like, this movie does the with great power comes great responsibility theme probably better than any other Spider-Man movie. It really like lays on this like, you've got this responsibility. How do you use it well? And we see Superman, who has all the powers in the world, but he doesn't have perspective. He doesn't have context. But he just wants people safe. I think it gets to it quicker and more richly. With great power comes great responsibility, because it's also got more avenues. And so the thing I like about the Justice Gang is they're superheroes and they get the job done, but they don't do it to like Superman standards. Mm-hmm. And we get to see them have this arc as well.
Yeah, there's a great like scene in, I want to say, the second act where they're fighting a giant kaiju monster in downtown Metropolis, and the Justice Gang is just laying into this thing, and Superman's entire contribution to the fight is just getting bystanders out of the way. Yeah. Because he's like, you guys are reckless, like, holy crap. And it shows, number one, it's a great way to show Superman's priorities and to nerf him a little bit in the fight. And it gives you that thematic juxtaposition about the guy who is there to help people and the guys who are maybe there a little bit for the glory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last thing I want to say about this movie is it's got the message, if you even probably got from trailers or reviews, is like kindness and empathy and seeing the humanity in each other and aiding when people are in need, protecting each other, is the most punk rock thing you can do. And I think because so many of James Gunn's other movies are so cynical, or forget his movies, like Peacemaker and Creature Commandos, deeply cynical, like edgy, crude media. The Suicide Squad, like, so cynical. I buy the hopeful message of this movie because it seems like it came from a guy genuinely trying to dig deep and say something genuine and hopeful when his go-to is cynicism. And as a very cynical person, I think that's why it hit me so hard. Why I like truly bought into it in a way I don't buy into other like kumbaya, let's get along kind of messages in blockbusters.
I want to also maybe one last thing, because we've been going on Superman hard here for a bit. I really appreciated that the movie didn't feel like a Marvel movie.
Yes.
And I mean that very genuinely, because number one, because James Gunn has worked in the Marvel universe before, but also because it felt like a superhero movie that wasn't just chasing the Marvel zeitgeist. It was just trying to be its own thing. If anything, it's very much stylistically more in line with early Superman films than anything Marvel has put out. And I appreciated it because it felt like a bit of a breath of fresh air without being weird like some of the earlier DCU stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely night and day from the Snyderverse.
But even
very different.
Like James Gunn's take on Suicide Squad still felt very Marvel-y, if that makes sense. And this movie didn't. And I mean that as highest praise for this film.
Absolutely.
It was a superhero movie that just did its own thing and was still a superhero movie, but didn't feel like it was just doing the same thing all the other superhero movies are.
Right. Yeah. You know, the thing that keeps popping up on my brain every time I think about this movie is how bright it is. Just really bright,
delightfully
and
bright.
colorful.
It's got a great color palette.
Yeah. And I do appreciate that, especially after all the grim dark stuff that DC got. I also like this movie. It was fine. I probably don't have the history with Superman to take it much more than that. So yeah, as far as superhero movies, I actually think it was probably the second best one I watched because I actually quite liked Thunderbolts. But so
yeah, Superman definitely ate Fantastic Four's lunch. It's embarrassing how what an absolute scene stealer of a summer this had over Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Far out. I recommend Superman. Another one of my recommendations, and then our two more to go from Scott and Greg. I have another movie that I love, and I sort of really encourage Greg and Scott to watch this one. And if to the point where I'd actually like you guys to tell me what you liked about it, and I'll just go, I agree. This is, and because I've been rambling and I'm excited. Canadian film called Universal Language. It is this sort of far out. It's set in Winnipeg as imagined by someone who's never left Tehran. It's got this triptych overlapping sort of series of stories that aren't in any kind of like linear order. It's just weird, and it's so weird that it helps reinforce the idea that everything we all have lots in common.
Written and directed by Matthew Rankin. There was some discussion about this one because if you look at it on Letterboxd and IMDb, you might note that it says 2024. But Liam made the argument that it was on the festival circuit in 24, but it got wide release in 2025. So we decided it just sneaks onto the list. And it is a weird movie, but like charmingly weird. It's funny and meditative, and it's exactly like you say, like it's set in this weird fictional foreign Winnipeg, where the first language isn't English, but the second language is still French. And the magic trick the movie plays is that it is simultaneously so foreign seeming and yet so Canadian seeming. Like it's still so recognizably Canadian in its spirit, in the visuals, in the pacing even, that it couldn't help but be charming. And I was smiling through most of the movie. I quite enjoyed this one. I'm glad that you put it on my radar. It's one I would have missed if you hadn't pointed it out.
Yeah. I even though you recommended it, Liam, you asked us to watch it, I did not watch any trailers for this film, so the only thing that I'd seen for it before going into it was the poster. So I didn't know anything. And it was really fun having this weird movie kind of wash over me, sight unseen. I dare say that, like, if you are not Canadian, there's going to be a lot of things in here that you that you might not pull anything out of.
Appreciate,
because there are some very area specific things that the director is taking a piss out of. I'm thinking specifically of all the time the graveyards that are right next to busy roads. That really just kind of triggered me, because I was like, man, I like passed 3 graveyards on the way to work, like, and they're all like on busy roads. It's one of those things where it's like, I didn't really realize that was sort of like a uniquely Canadian thing. We've done this weird thing, but it makes sense that, like, you know, other folks might point that out. And of course, nobody hates Winnipeg like people from Winnipeg, right? So, so that's, the brutalist nature of it. I found that really, like, enticing. Like, clearly, Matthew Rankin's very influenced, by Wes Anderson. And, this is the most Canadian looking Wes Anderson film that you could ever make, because it's just this Wes Anderson film that would normally be like the most colorful thing you've ever seen, but none of that. Gray, brutalist, it's still framed beautifully. It's still framed beautifully. Like, it's still framed just as aptly as Wes Anderson might do. So Aaron and I were laughing throughout. I did quite enjoy it, and I loved how much it was taking a piss out of Canadian culture and North American culture writ large. And I just want to make a quick mention. There's lots of really weird moments in this movie that are just, like, extremely funny. I'm thinking of the scene where the main character is he's quitting his job, right?
Yeah.
And to move on to Winnipeg.
The most neutral experience of his life.
Yeah. And he's in just this gray box of a room, and it's framed very, very strangely. Like, they're at a table and they're at the right side of the frame, and then it flips to the other side of them, and then they're on the left side of the frame. So it's just like, it's very jarring.
It breaks the 180 rule.
Yeah. And what I loved about it was, it took me a while to realize there's this big framed portrait of Francois Legault, the premier of Quebec, in the background. And then when it flips to the other shot, he's on the other wall too. And that just made me laugh so much. Cause this guy, if you don't know, I mean, if you're an American listener, he's very much a protectionist kind of premier, and he would loom large over the idea that, like, people are speaking, Farsi everywhere or whatever. So I thought that was really funny, that they made him sort of like this weird, almost, dictatorish looking fellow in this scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It does this wonderful trick of, like you're saying, how it, like, it flips and it's sort of surreal. I think the way it goes about being surreal is it just sort of muddies everything a little bit, and sort of like, not muddies, but like, blurs is the word I'm looking for. Blurs certain details. Like, throughout the movie, there are background actors clearly in drag, and it's not being played for laughs, nor is it being played for, like, progressive back padding. It's just to kind of leave you confused.
Yep.
Same with, like, there's the one character named Matthew, and then another similar character named Masood, and they're like parallels of each other. The stories, at least it seemed to me, seem to have, like, almost like a row your boat overlapping of the 3 narratives. Like, it doesn't, they don't seem to happen linearly. But by being blurry, it sort of restates this thesis that, like, we all have more in common than we have different. So maybe look at each other's humanity and understand this is a universal language.
It's a movie about multiculturalism. And fun fact, just to point at how deep the comedy goes in this movie, the English title for this movie is Universal Language. The French title, of course, Une langue universelle. And the Farsi title is Song of the Turkey.
Incredible. Yes, if that wasn't clear, the characters are speaking. Characters who would be English-speaking Canadians are speaking Farsi, and then the French Canadians are speaking French Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a trip. Highly recommend it.
There's a Farsi Tim Hortons at one point, and it's just chef's kiss. It's perfect. It would make a wonderful double feature with another movie that came out this year. I'll keep it brief, called Train Dreams, which is also this like rumination on what does a single man's life mean, and how does it, square against the universe? What does it all mean? And it is a very affecting movie. I do recommend Train Dreams, but it's interesting. This film and Train Dreams sort of come to the same thematic conclusion by totally different means. Train Dreams is like a quiet woodsman, like building a house for his family at the turn of the 19th century or the 20th century. Just a lot of like, close-ups of people emoting, and like William H. Macy at one point's like, "It's beautiful, isn't it? Everything, man." I recommend Train Dreams as like a companion piece to this, because it's the normal, not insane story about how we're all more similar than we are different. Moving on to Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. I hate, by the way, that they're calling them a Knives Out mystery.
I put that in there just to annoy you.
It is annoying. I 100% agree, Scott.
Yeah. It should be a Benoit Blanc mystery.
Yeah. They should have retroactively called a Knives Out a Benoit Blanc mystery, and they should just be Benoit Blanc mysteries. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Written and directed by Ryan Johnson.
Yeah. Both of your picks?
Yep. This one is a good one. I was looking forward to it. I am always looking forward to Ryan Johnson movies, especially his mystery movies. I really dig Daniel Craig's Benoit Blanc films. I love that he's never the protagonist in the movie. Number one. Mm-hmm. He's there to help the protagonist on their journey in every movie. Number two, I like that they're all very different mysteries. Johnson plays with different mystery tropes in each film. They all do different things, and they're all telling different stories. And I know that there's a lot of people who kind of bounced off Glass Onion a little bit. If you were a little leery about Wake Up Dead Man because you did bounce off of Glass Onion, give it a chance, because again, it's a very different kind of film. And it's weirdly, I feel like it's deeply personal for Ryan Johnson, this one, because it's an examination very much of faith in this case. The main character is a priest who has been, who ends up getting accused of the murder of another priest. And the suspects are all of the people who are kind of in and around this guy's congregation. And it's an examination of both like the good and the bad that religion can bring into people's lives. And it still comes out kind of optimistically about it in a way. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate it. As someone who's not a particularly religious person, I kind of, but has the same kind of, I feel like, religious background that Ryan Johnson is approaching this film with. It spoke to me like that, and I quite enjoyed it. And it was just a compelling mystery. I like a compelling mystery. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Black Bag being the first compelling mystery that I put on this list. So, Greg, I've talked about it for a bit. This was also on your list. What did you like about it?
Yes, I quite loved Wake Up Dead Man. I'm also a fan of Ryan Johnson as a director. This felt to me like his Midnight Mass, to compare it to something that another creator that I quite like, Mike Flanagan, just like a kind of a treatise on religion. And what I really appreciate about all of the Knives Out films is how much the mystery is in orbit of the characters, and that there's so much good, rich character development going on, particularly in this case with Josh O'Connor's character, who Josh O'Connor is a revelation in this movie. He's fantastic. Yeah, and so I just really appreciate how well woven the tapestry of this film is, just like having that excellent character development along with a very fun mystery that does kind of keep you guessing right up to nearly the bitter end kind of thing. It's a lot of fun, and Ryan Johnson's a very whip smart writer. He writes good, snappy dialogue, and I really appreciate that.
And as usual, stacked cast.
Yeah.
Not just Daniel Craig and Josh O'Connor, but Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, Jeremy Renner, Thomas Hayden Church. Surprise, Thomas Hayden Church in this movie. I was like, is that Thomas Hayden Church? It sure was. Mia Kunis, Kerry Washington, Andrew Scott, Kaylee Spaney, just stacked cast. As is usual, people love being in these movies.
I'll be honest. I wanted more of Andrew Scott. Yeah. I did enjoy this one. I just, I'm like, oh, I like that it's a mystery, and then I like that it's not, the reveal of the whodunit isn't necessarily the main takeaway. It was, very refreshing. You guys have seen it all, other than I wanted more Andrew Scott.
The thing that's one of the underserved characters.
Yeah, the thing that's most powerful about it is not what the mystery reveals to be, but like the meaning behind that, and the transition that the characters make when that has all come and gone, right? Yeah. And I think like what's really brilliant about it is how all perspectives of religion are valid and respected in this movie, and in a way that doesn't feel like it's not trying to have, like, it's not like it's not trying to have a perspective. What it does is like, it gives you these guys as like this person's perspective, and you can just agree or disagree with them, whatever you like. And it does it in a way that like you could take that as the position in the movie if you want, but you don't have to. And I really quite appreciate that.
Another reason to get Netflix, I suppose.
Yeah, we actually saw this in the theater, which I'm glad we did. We went 9 days early before the release of Wake Up Dead Man, and saw it in the theater. And I was quite heartened by the fact that a lot of people were also down to do that. Like it was a full theater.
Showed up for it. Nice.
So hey, Netflix, guess what? Have a release window, you stupid dicks.
Yeah,
that's my takeaway from that.
At least for their good movies, which they do a little bit, but it's more just to get it Oscar contention than
they do it for cynical reasons. That's
And the last film on our list, a Greg Beaver selection, is Zach Krieger's Weapons.
I loved Weapons. Zach Krieger's he's such an interesting director and writer. We were just talking in Wake Up Dead Man about how the character development and the mystery are so interwoven, and he does horror and comedy and weaves them together in such an interesting way that I just love. Like both Barbarian and Weapons are just they're so unique compared to other horror movies that they kind of just stand alone. Like he very quickly feels like an auteur to me, and he's only had like a couple films that have been in this kind of like in this vein. I don't know if has he done any other major releases aside from those two?
I don't believe so, but this was not part of our show preparation research.
That's fair. I think Weapons has a lot of really great performances from all the principals like Josh Brolin, Julia Garner, Alden Allen. How do you say his name?
Ehrenreich.
Ehrenreich. There we go.
Ehrenreich.
And also easily in my mind, the best villain of 2026. Like,
yeah.
Just, I'm not going to spoil anything about, the villain outside to say it is a performance to be enjoyed and you should watch this movie for it.
If you liked what Longlegs was doing weird character wise, but didn't like that it was Nick Cage, this one's for you.
Fair, yeah.
If you're like, yeah.
It's interesting that out of 12 films that we have on our top 10 here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 horror movies.
Oh yeah.
5 maybe if you squint. And I want to say that is because I feel like there's a lot of people who've been kind of looking down their nose at horror for the last couple of years about like what's the term that they've been using? Put myself on the spot, but elevated horror. Where it's like, oh, it's cerebral horror. It's horror that's trying to have a message. A23 gets accused of that quite a bit. And I'm like, no, that's just good horror. Good horror is something that has a message that it's trying to give you and is using the horror to cut to the heart of it. Which we kind of touched on when we were talking earlier about Sinners, maybe? I don't know. I don't remember. We're far enough in the episode. I don't remember which movie it was, but we had mentioned it.
Probably 28 days later.
Yeah, it might have been that good genre films have something to say. And horror in particular over the last couple of years, I think has really been nailing it. Like we've had a lot of really great horror writer-directors come out of the woodwork in the past several years. And there's some other ones that didn't make our list this year that were also really worth checking out. And I just want to say, like, I know that horror is a bit of a sticky genre for a lot of people because a lot of people are really squeamish, not sure that they can get into it. But if you can get over that or find like a safe space to watch a good horror movie with someone who you can like glom onto the arm of or pull your blanket up, there's a lot of really good stories out there right now in the horror genre. And this year was just another in a couple great years of good horror cinema.
Yeah.
When you said that, I had forgotten about all the stuff that happens to Benedict Wong in this movie.
Yeah, some of the horrifying stuff for Benedict Wong, unfortunately. Yeah, but like the visuals, I think they stick with you. I obviously like everyone remembers like what's going on in the trailer and stuff, but there's so much more that you can kind of take out of this film that are just like, stick in your mind. And I think you're entirely right, Scott. There's no reason to poo-poo elevated horror in any particular way. There's, I don't know why horror has been at the forefront of this. I don't know. Maybe it's been ripe for, a genre to attack in an elevated way, you know?
My theory off the cuff here, just based on what Scott said, this is what speculative fiction and science fiction has always done, is like present lofty ideals through genre. And then I think the reason horror is now taking up a lot of that market share is because we live in horrifying times.
Yeah, you're probably bang on there. But I do appreciate like these are Weapons is great. If you haven't seen Talk to Me is wonderful. Bodies is another one that comes to mind. I don't know if that one necessarily has a message, but it is quite different as a horror movie. And I like that these are all kind of bending the idea of what we think horror is. And I think that's great. That's good for a genre because genres evolve over time and you want them to feel new and fresh, and this is a new and fresh way. So I'm excited for what the future has in store for Zach Krieger, although as I do recall, I believe he's doing Resident Evil next. So he's going into the franchise. So hopefully that'll still be good, but we'll see.
Good, or maybe it's just a like one for them, one for me situation.
Maybe.
Could be.
Yeah, Yep.
He's doing that, so the fourth thing,
so he can do something else. Yeah, 100%. Yep.
I liked Weapons as well. I think why I didn't crack my top 5 was I wasn't entirely sure what the takeaway was supposed to be. I had a lot of fun with it. It's very entertaining, but the thematic clarity was not there for me personally.
Yeah.
But also the way those kids run. Why they do it like that? Great marketing. This movie had an excellent marketing campaign.
Yeah. I think it helps that there was a very clear, creepy visual to hang the marketing off of.
Mhm.
Yeah. You know, it had its trailer moment, and that definitely helped sell it. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, those were the films we enjoyed this year. Do you want to recap which ones were your sort of top 5? Because we just sort of did them in bulk. Mine was Superman, Universal Language, Bugonia, One Battle After Another, and It Was Just an Accident.
Mine was 28 years later, and Naked Gun, Sinners, Wake Up Dead Man, and Weapons.
Mine were Sinners, Wake Up Dead Man, Frankenstein, Black Bag, and Superman. It's a lot of overlap in our Venn diagrams.
Yeah, a little bit. I think there's three overlapping films, which is why there's 12 of them and not 15. And even more when we go to our listener comments. Thank you to everyone who contributed. Most of these came from our Discord. I once again encourage you, join us on the Discord. It is good movie discussion happening with cool, smart people. And I'm there too. And first comment, Amanda, the aforementioned Engaged, favorite movies of the year, Sorry Baby, One Battle After Another, Bugonia, Train Dreams, and It Was Just an Accident. Really do if you get Netflix, you watch Frankenstein, you watch Wake Up Dead Man, and you watch Train Dreams, and you've got your Netflix for the month. It was worth it.
Yeah.
Josh Scar says Sinners and K-pop Demon Hunters.
I had actually
Netflix,
forgotten.
right? You know what? I'm not shitting on Netflix.
I had actually forgotten that K-pop Demon Hunters was this year.
Yeah,
and
it came up fairly early in the year, and it really hit big over the summer.
Yeah, and it is great.
It's justified. It's not the sort of kid trend thing that's stupid. Like, it's not the Minecraft movie. And I think that shows, the Minecraft movie made a splash the weeks it was in theaters, and then now nobody gives a shit. Or you guys have kids. Maybe you've got Minecraft on repeat.
Nobody does.
I don't know.
No.
But K-pop Demon Hunters, chart topping hits.
Yep.
Yeah.
My daughter is still singing the songs repeatedly.
Yeah. People dressed up as it for Halloween, which is, I feel like, a big indicator that something is in the cultural zeitgeist. People are legit excited for sequels that they've promised. Mm-hmm. The songs have been playing on the radio. When I'm dropping off the kids in the morning, sometimes one of the Huntrix songs drops on the radio. It's just trending music. And it's, as you said, it's well animated. It's got a fun story. And people are still hooked on it. So this was a big animated splash this year, bigger than Disney. Bigger than anything Disney put out this year.
Yeah. The songs are something else because they did such a great job of making them thematically relevant, but they not so hardened to speak directly to what's going on in the movie to make them inaccessible. So I think that's why they're playing on regular radio, because they're just good songs, and you don't have to have seen the movie at all to enjoy them.
Yeah.
Robin Slack says, did we really get Sinners, Weapons, and Bring Her Back in the same year? 2025 was apparently a kick-ass year for total sickos.
Oh boy. Robin Taylor says Sinners, One Battle After Another, Wake Up Dead Man, Avatar Fire and Ash, and His Girl Friday. Black Phone 2 as a runner-up. Eddington, the most interesting failure.
When he posted
Avatar,
that, we all Googled, did His Girl Friday come out in 2025?
No, His Girl Friday.
He's just hyping up a classic.
Yeah, Robin Taylor happened to see it this year, and it was one of his top films of the year, because it's just a great movie. If you haven't seen His Girl Friday, it's available on Canopy and other free streaming services right now. Seek it out. It's a delight. Avatar Fire and Ash, you guys, that came out late in the year. It did its $1 billion run. Did either of you see it?
Nope.
No.
I
haven't seen The Way of Water yet. So
that's my seen theory. The first one.
You haven't? Oh, wow.
Yeah. I just haven't had an interest in it. I don't know. Like, I get it. Yeah. I feel like Avatar is finally starting to build up a little bit of that cultural cachet that I feel like James Cameron was hoping the first one would. It's maybe finally starting to pick up a little bit of steam, but I don't know. I don't want to be that one guy who, like, in 2005 was like, well, I've never seen a Star Wars when it comes to it, like, in 10 years. But yeah, I've not really been interested in checking them out. I don't know.
Yeah.
See, my understanding was Fire and Ash got a bit more of a tepid response than Way of Water. And I guess my assumption was, like, maybe what makes Avatar movies special is that there's a decade between them.
Oh, maybe.
Because, like, there was one, and then over a decade went by, and then there was two almost less than a year apart. Maybe that's...
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. We'll see if people are still talking about it come summertime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that, like, the people who are Avatar fans are big Avatar fans, and that's cool. I don't have any particular reason to not watch them other than the fact that I don't like the production design. I think the Na'vi look dumb, and I just don't want to engage. I just don't want to engage with that world just because I just don't like how they look. I think I think it looks silly.
I think you need to see it on a big spectacular IMAX screen, or at least just a theater. Cause I've seen the first one and I watched it on a, 40-inch TV on DVD. And I was like, this sucks. Cause the story is really nothing, but I can absolutely imagine if you're surrounded by these visuals, it's a feast for the eyes. And so go see it in the theater or probably don't bother, but but speaking of seeing things in theaters, it's 2026. Is there anything coming out this year that you guys are excited for?
Send help. I definitely want to see Sam Raimi's upcoming film. That's supposed to be coming out in January, which does give me a little bit of pause, which is it's not the month for where studios have a whole lot of confidence in what they're putting out. So I'm a little worried, but I do love a good Sam Raimi film, and this seems like kind of like a return to, not maybe a return to form, but just sort of like back to Sam Raimi's comfort zone, something a little smaller in scope. So yeah, we'll see how that comes across. There's also I saw a trailer for a Zazie Beetz movie called They Will Kill You, which looks fantastic it just like a balls out action film. It almost reminds me a little bit of Bullet Train, and maybe mixed in with Hotel Royale, sort of like those two sort of like genre films sort of like mashing together a little bit. But it does look like a lot of fun, so I'm looking forward to that.
I think the three I'm sort of most stoked on is Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, which comes out in February. Gore Verbinski directing Sam Rockwell as a time traveler who's come back to our time and is way out of his depth. Trailer's up for that. Looks very good. There's another one that again was playing it at Edmonton International Film Festival. Wish I had set aside the time to go see it, because now everyone's talking about how cool it's going to be and the people who've seen it are hyped. It's called Nirvana, the Band, the Show, the Movie. And it's, all I will say about it is the two guys who made Blackberry, which listeners will recall was probably my favorite movie of 2023, I believe. And then I love Boosters because I love Boots Riley, and he's got a movie coming out mid-March called I Love Boosters, and anything Boots Riley does rules.
Right on. Well, a couple movies that I'm curious to see. It's been a while since we've seen Christopher Nolan do something, and Oppenheimer was very, very good. And so I am at least curious to see his take on the Odyssey. Mm-hmm. I also mentioned before that there was another Frankenstein movie coming that I was interested in seeing, and that's The Bride, coming out in March. Maggie Gyllenhaal's take on a Frankenstein film starring Christian Bale and Jessie Buckley. I think that's probably going to be a blast. And hey, guys, We're finally going to see Coyote versus Acme.
Woohoo!
Yeah, it's happening.
It's happening. It's supposed to happen this year. With Warner Brothers currently kind of up in the air, and it's looking more and more like Netflix is going to acquire them. My guess is that we're going to probably see it hit streaming with a short theatrical window. But I'm here for it. I just want to see it. I want that movie to see the light of day, and I'm good. I don't care if I have to watch it on my phone. I am going to be happy to have it in my eyeballs. So,
Hell yeah.
We put out the call for listeners to let us know what they're looking forward to. Just very briefly in the Discord. Again, join our Discord. So much fun. Tax says he's looking forward to Send Help, The Bride, Supergirl, and Spider-Man Brand New Day. I didn't even realize that was coming out.
That's coming up right away too, I think.
I'm so devoid on what's happening with Marvel. Robin Taylor says Ready or Not 2. If you haven't seen Ready or Not, it's awesome. So I would definitely prime yourself with that, because the sequel will probably be pretty good too. Derek says Supergirl, Dune 3, and he's curious about The Bride, The Odyssey, Clayface, Coyote versus Acme, and and Masters of the Universe is coming out.
Yeah, there's a
this
Masters
year.
of the Universe film coming out, which I'll admit, I raised my eyebrow. I'm curious. I'm concerned.
Jared Leto in it though.
No!
Yeah, I'm fairly confident it's going to be trash, but I'm at least curious.
He's Skeletor? Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Wow.
Yeah, what does that guy have? What dirt does that guy have? People keep casting him in movies.
Yeah.
He's got some kind of like hypnosis powers where he can just
Yeah.
Well,
to me.
Liam has said it and Greg just said it, and I'm going to say it again. You should come join our Discord server. The links to join can be found in the profile of any of our social media accounts or over at IHaveSomeNotes.com. You can also follow us on a bunch of other social media and let us know what movies you're looking forward to this year. Check us out on Blue Sky at I Have Some Notes. We're at I Have Some Notes Pod over on Instagram, where I Have Some Notes over on Facebook. Once again, Discord server is the best place to go, though. Come join us, have a conversation, get to know us in person, sort of. Really, really deep in that parasocial relationship. And of course, you can also, while you're doing that, subscribe to our podcast and give it a rate and review on your podcatcher of choice.
And of course, you can head over to patreon.com/IHaveSomeNotes and become an armchair screenwriter. We're looking for just $4 a month. Your support really just helps keep the podcast going, cover some of the associated costs, and what we can offer you, aside from some bonus episodes from the past, maybe some new coming down the pipe, is a big honkin' shout out at the end. So thank you to our current supporters, Sharon, Karen, Tack, and Robin. We really appreciate the support.
Yeah. And this is normally the part where I tease up the next episode, but maybe we can make a decision live right here on the show. Derek had mentioned that we should do Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Are we good for that for the next episode?
Yep, I'm into it. I mean, I'm not into it. I'm dreading it, but I'm that it wouldn't be I Have Some Notes otherwise.
Hey, we were able to fix that first one. Sure, let's give a crack at the second one.
Yeehaw. Let's go.
Until then, I'm Liam Creswick.
I'm Scott C. Bourgeois.
I'm Gray Beaver. Keep watching the skies.